So we're in Elysian Park near downtown LA, and I was attempting to go to this swing that sits on the top of a hill because I kind of thought it would have really nice views and I could sit on the swing and kind of contemplate my life for a minute. But the reason it has such nice views is because apparently you're just like climbing up the side of the mountain straight up the side, and that's not for me. I like adventure, but I don't like to get hurt. So where I'm wanting to go is near Dodger Stadium, and the whole stadium is blocked. So let me see if I can even get there. Yeah, it's saying to go straight. All right, well, let's see what happens if I go around, if it'll let me get there. It's so annoying. Okay. All right. So we're gonna go to Elysian Park Trail instead. That one's nice and easy. Easy peasy. I like easy. I want my life to be easy. I know challenges are what make you grow, but I like challenges that are enjoyable and inspiring, not painful and scary. Good challenges. I invite good challenges into my life. Healthy, enjoyable, inspiring, encouraging challenges. Not scary, dangerous challenges. This was not where I was planning on parking, but today's not really going the way I was planning on any level. So we're gonna just go with the flow here and park where the parking is at. So here's where we're at. We're gonna go for a hike, do a little walk and talk. We're in the parking lot. It'll get nicer from here. All right, so here we go, climbing the hill. I've done this hike probably 10 or 15 times, so even though we're on a hill now, I know it's super doable as opposed to the other scary one I tried first. Yeah, you see all these? It's springtime. Springtime, it's springtime with the flowers. So nice. So, yeah, trees are my favorite. So yeah, I think over the next couple of months I'm gonna start like really thinking what the next chapter of my life is gonna look like, where I'm gonna live, what kind of work I'm gonna do. Who knows, maybe I'll stay here, but I've been here 20 years. It's like, what's the point? It's kind of a been there, done that situation. When I moved here right after college, it was never my intention to be here my whole entire life. Like I honestly always thought I was gonna live in LA for like 5 years and then move to New York City, which I would never do now because there's just not enough nature, and like nature's my preference. You know, not knocking New York for people who love urban environments, but yeah, like I just kind of thought I'd do like 5 years in LA, 5 years in New York. Like I kind of thought I'd do a little bit more hopping around. I didn't think it'd be 20 years in one spot. Idaho also seems kind of cool. I just really want some big evergreen trees, and I want at least like 1 or 2 days of snow in the winter so you can like get excited when it snows. Or like a close drive to snow. I don't know. I want fall colors in the fall. We don't get that either. It's like literally the same season here year round, except in the summer it gets hotter. So basically, like right now, it's March 1st and it was 87 degrees as the high. So it's basically 70s and 80s year round, except in August and September, sometimes October, it's 90s and 100s. That's it, that's all it ever is. It's like, you know, I want the fall leaves, I want the spring flowers, I want the winter snow. So, yeah. I'm ready for a change. Ooh, look at this cool log. Isn't that cool? That cool log. This area is kind of nice. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the next adventure is. But I definitely am ready for an adventure. Like, yeah. Maybe I even just need like a week vacation in a national park or something. I don't know. I just really need like a change of scenery. That's what it is. I'm needing a change of scenery. And I don't know. I think that when you go to a different environment, you learn things about yourself too, because you get so set in the culture of where you live that you start to think that's how the world is. You know, you start to think that the bad traffic in LA, like, oh, well, just if you want to go visit a friend, it takes an hour. That's normal. Well, not in every city, you know, or you start to just think that the little things that you do in your day-to-day, you start to think is the norm. And I think when you put yourself into a totally different environment, it wakes you up to the fact that, no, that's just the culture, and you can do things differently, which then further opens to your mind to, oh, well, if that's done entirely differently, what else could be done differently? And then you start getting creative about doing things outside of the box. So I think since I work as an artist, I think it's important to change it up and have different environments to keep my mind kind of fresh and open to new ideas and not stagnant and kind of set in my ways. So yeah. There's the Hollywood sign. And a cute little picnic table. Oh, hey there. Hi. Well, you're friendly. Hello there. Back on the trail. That was a little side step for the picnic table. So yeah, there's a lot to love about LA. Like, really good hiking, the weather's really good, tons of museums. If you're an artist, like, you can get inspired every day of the week at like some of the world's best museums. But I've kind of like done it all. So I think it's an exciting place, like, you know, for 5 or 10 years. The other thing too is when I first moved here, LA was this hidden gem that wasn't a hidden gem. Everybody knew about LA, but it was like, it was not cool. Like, people in New York would talk about how, you know, real artists didn't live in LA, and LA wasn't like a cool place to move to or live. And there would constantly be articles like in the New York Times about how New York was so much better than LA. And those of us that lived here, that were kind of working like in the entertainment industry, artistically in a way, we all loved that everyone bashed on LA because it kept our cost of living low. Like, because people didn't move here because it wasn't cool in the art world to move here, you know, you could get a 1-bedroom apartment for like $800 or $900 a month, and gas was still relatively affordable, and taxes were, I think at that time, like 6% for sales tax. Now it's 10.25%. It's just, I think it's kind of like, I think that I prefer cities that aren't full yet, that are like, still have a good cost of living. They're kind of the place that like either people don't know about, don't talk about, or think aren't cool. Because then it's like you can kind of make it your own, and you're not, there's just less competition. It's less crowded, it's more affordable. Yeah, so it's just a different city now than when I moved here. Wow, look at this. Oh, it's getting to be magic hour. Magically beautiful. All right, so here's another thing about LA. We're about to overlook some traffic. Let's see, I'll show it to you guys here in a second. All right, I'm gonna zoom in. See that traffic? Oh, it's moving. It's moving a bit. That is our traffic. It's like really, really beautiful. Yeah. Very nice. Magic hour on my hike. Just walking along the Elysian Park, thinking about the next chapter of life. Yeah, I'm feeling like I've lived in a big city for 20 years, and I'd like to live in a small city. Not a small town, but like a small city. Like, I loved Portland so much when I went there that I'm inclined to move back there, but I have already lived there. I've already had that experience, and it's kind of a medium city. You know, you think places like Austin, Portland, Boston, those are medium cities. Like, I'm feeling like I kind of want to move to a place that's like off the cuff, that is just not really very well known. You know, like, I kind of want to live in like, I don't know, like there's this little small town outside of Portland called Canby. I love that area. Or like Oregon City. Tiny little town, but still like has everything a city sitter needs. I don't know. Or like, I can't remember the name of it, but there's like the waterfall, the big huge waterfalls up in like eastern Washington. I don't remember the name of it. I'll look it up when I get home. But yeah, so I'm brainstorming on places I could live that are like, I just want something that's not crowded, has its own character, like kind of like a different kind of culture where I can see life from a whole different perspective, see things differently, have an opportunity to grow a little. Work from home. I want to do some work from home. So does everyone. Oh my God, do you see those sun rays coming up from over the hills? Oh. Sun rays or smog? That's the thing. You never really know in LA. Not too sure what that is. So yeah. Yeah. I'm going to keep researching and thinking. But change would be nice, though that's kind of hard to say when this hike is so beautiful. It's kind of looking like I live in paradise, but you know, I'm on a beautiful hike. And you're not seeing my receipts with the 10% sales tax and, You know, you're not seeing me pump my gas where it's $5.50 a gallon. Yeah. Hello. And it's not just that, it's like, you know, you go get let's say you get a latte at Starbucks, and I'm vegan, so I get an oat milk latte. You know, that'd be $6.50 for a latte, and those things used to be like $3.50. It's just everything in LA. I feel like it's like a big city tax. You know, LA, New York, Miami, like all big cities, you can essentially just add 20 to 30% on top of the price and sometimes double. And I'm just kind of tired of it. After 20 years of, you know, living in a city that's made for rich people, and I'm not rich, it gets old. Like, I love nature so much too. Like, I want to have some land. Who doesn't though, right? Who doesn't want some land? I also feel like one thing I've learned over the last couple of years is, yeah, we've all known that like certain states have certain political leanings, but it's been magnified over the last couple of years, and I'd like to be in a place that's a little more neutral, you know, not so end of the spectrum, because LA got hit really hard, probably aside from New York, maybe equal to New York in the long run, but I think it's been like the toughest city to ride this thing out in. Not just because of the numbers, but, you know, because of the measures being so strict. It's been a tough couple of years, and I'm ready for, I think that's one of the reasons I'm wanting a smaller city too. Like, I'm wanting a smaller city so that when things like this happen, you're not quite as impacted. Yeah, I think a lot of people have been feeling this way though. So clearly I'm not unique in this desire. So pretty. Man, getting out into nature, I gotta say, I was having a tough day today. This is really, really lifting me up. I do think that whenever things are not going your way, if you just step out into nature, it just brings everything into perspective, you know? It's like we get so caught up in our worldly needs and desires and, you know, things with like work and our careers and just all that stuff, that you get out into nature and you realize that if all that stuff doesn't work out, you'll be okay. Because, I don't know, nature really does kind of provide everything that you need. It's us humans that decided we wanted to complicate things and make our lives comfortable, which it seems like the more we progress as a species, the more complicated and difficult we make our lives, right? Like, you think about the Industrial Revolution, and, you know, we got a lot out of that, but it also required humans to do a lot more work, and it introduced a lot more complexity into our lives, which is kind of the yin and yang of it. Hello. Right? But then, oh, they said hello, which was very nice. Which is kind of the yin and yang of it. And then you think about, after the Industrial Revolution, we had the technological revolution, right? And once again, we have a lot more conveniences. Like, I'm able to do this with you here with this phone, which is amazing. But then there's so much more complexities and stress introduced to our lives. And so I think coming out into nature kind of reminds us that we've done all of it to ourselves. All of the stress that we have is all our doing. And then maybe if we step back and stop wanting and needing so many of these things, like computers and iPhones and iPads and all this stuff, you know, we'll have fewer stresses. It's just, yeah, nature's a good reminder that at the end of the day, all of the stress, we were doing it to ourselves. And we really can choose to just not need as much, you know? Like, I really try to live a minimalist lifestyle so that I can keep my stress to a minimum. Like, if you saw where I live, I have a very small amount of furniture intentionally because I want, if I need to be able to kind of up and go. I like that car. See, you can get out into nature in LA, but only kind of. You're never really truly out in nature here. But anyways, as I was saying, I'm a minimalist because I like being open to change. I like even if I don't move, like every time I move into a new place, I'm like, oh, I'm only gonna be there for like a year. And then 5 years later, I'm like, oh, well, that wasn't how long I was planning on being here. But I like knowing in the back of my mind that if at any point I wanted to up and move, I could. I like that. That makes me happy. So we are going to head up to this hill, get a little view before we're done with this hike. This has like a nice little, it tops out up at the top and there's like a nice place to sit, which is great. But yeah, so I think getting out into nature and keeping things to a minimum, you know, owning a small amount of stuff is the way to go. Yeah, so here we are. Bring it on in. This is the nice view up here. I'm breathing kind of heavy because I just hiked up to the top of this hill. Let's see. We'll get a little closer over here. Yeah, it's a beauty. Nice shot of downtown LA, nice sunset shot. There it is. Yep. The city that has been my home for 20 years, but doesn't feel like home at all. Good old LA. So I'm now realizing that I had something I could have been holding my camera with a little further away this whole time. Whoops. So, as we've been talking about how I plan on leaving LA, which I guess that's kind of a typical thing you see on YouTube, right? People are like, I've had it, I'm done, I'm done. I mean, there's been a lot of great things about LA over the years, like good weather, great opportunities. You know, I've built an amazing portfolio, but yeah, it's kind of like, you know, you have a to-do list for life and you're like, I've checked that box. I feel like that box is checked and I'm ready to move on to the next line of my to-do list. But I guess instead of moving on to the next line of the to-do list, it's time to start a new to-do list because I think I have checked all the boxes on this one. Yeah, it's been an interesting journey. So the next 3 to 6 months, I'm gonna be going to all my favorite spots, making sure that I get to experience everything that I love so that, you know, and oh, look at that cutie. Hey bud. So that once I do move, I'm not like, oh, I didn't go to this one thing that I loved. I wish I would have. I'm gonna make sure I do. I'm gonna make sure I go to all my favorite spots. So, yeah, that'll be on the agenda. I think I'll try to go to some spots that are my favorite, that are not like the well-known spots that everybody knows about. That's the good stuff. I just don't like mainstream stuff. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of like, once it becomes mainstream, it feels a little ruined. Like, you go there and it's crowded, there's no parking, you've seen a gazillion pictures of it. It's like it takes the specialness away from it. So, yeah. So I'll go to some of my favorite spots that are a little unique. Yeah. Wish I would have figured out this hand-holding thing when I first started this walk. You know, that would have been good. Oh my God, though, how beautiful it is right now. Wow. Gotta show you the skyline at night because it's so pretty. Getting a nice sunset. I think I got a mosquito bite because my leg itches. All right. I'm gonna start walking a little faster because it's getting dark. Oh, it's dark enough now that my camera's turning on the flashlight. Oy, oy, oy. That's when you know it's too dark. That's when you know it's time to get back to the car. When the camera's like, I can't see you without the flashlight. So I'm gonna pick up the pace, get back to the car safely. Everything just looks so pretty with the sunset, right? And I love being out in nature so much. It's like hard to want to go back home. So, yeah. Life, right? Show you the trail with my flashlight on. Doesn't look like it's all that dark because this camera's so good at in low light. But it's pretty dark. All right, so on that note, I'm gonna sign off so that I can focus on picking up the pace, getting back to my car safe.